Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wish You Were Beer Show. How was that?
Good. After a year of these, you're doing great.
That's why I feel like it's only gotten better, and as it came out of my mouth, I was like, "That's the one."
Yeah,
that is.
That's the intro every time.
Yeah,
we're
it's almost
finally
like a
there.
circus.
That's the idea. This is a circus.
I mean, valid point.
Pretty much.
So, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with this show, A, where have you been for the past year? 2, this is a weekly beer review show that we do every Thursday night. We do it live at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. You can get it through YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You can watch a recording of it on your friend's phone because you broke your phone. There's a litany of different avenues you can explore. We have a bunch of links down in the About section that are all of our other social media. So Instagram has our Untappd handles all individually and the show. You can follow all the different beer sources that we seek out. So Beer Drop, Tavor. We've got links for a lot of those as well down there. We've got a killer blog.
Yeah.
Great
Killer.
website.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you're unfamiliar with the show, what are you doing?
And what else did we do this week?
We
finally set up the
Oh.
LLC.
I didn't realize we were
So-
announcing that on this show, so you caught me a little off
Yeah.
guard there.
No, I'm announcing.
It's a live show. It's too late. It's announced.
You are not kidding. Jesus.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I always try to bring things up in the pre-show I'm going to talk about on the show.
Correct.
I just remembered it.
Tiffany, on the other hand, is like, we started a real company. On to
It's
you,
like,
Phil.
here's my social security number.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It's-
wasn't going to provide that, but it's 49. No.
Nah. So we started a actual LLC so that I can sell Andy merch.
That's it. We just want to sell one shirt and we're done.
Yep.
One
And we'll
shirt.
shut it
No.
down.
It has to have different shirts.
He's
for every
going to
time we
buy
come out.
8. He already said he would.
He's already committed to 8.
Yeah.
Well,
We're gonna try and get that sweet number 10 though.
I will let Andrew know I've got a bunch of shirt designs in the works, and some of them I'm pretty excited about.
How many of them have a pickle on them?
At least 12.
Great.
I fucking love it.
Great.
So
I've basically got 10 shirts that all just say Foeder on them.
That's fantastic.
Basically, anything with the fooder on it is gonna sell well.
Yeah.
I did find out that we cannot use a fighting pickle as a emblem.
Correct.
That is a college.
There's also been several ska bands who have had multiple pickle emblems that were fighting racism, a litany of things.
I'm
You
just
can't do that.
saying that was a sweet
Okay.
little dude there with
A sweet little dude. Oh, Lord. So anyway, there's going to be a lot more to come. So we do have a website where we try to keep up on our schedule, keep up on events coming up. So make sure you follow that. I feel like I'm missing something. The intro went so well. I feel like I threw my own self off.
Yeah.
You got so excited.
And yeah, and then I get a resounding yeah, and then silence.
I'm
So
sorry.
it's
You
going
did.
great.
Yes, but I think we're doing great. and we are gonna drink a really good beer.
I mean, we're
We
4
hope. We
minutes
don't
into
know
the
yet.
show. You're already starting the beer.
How are we not always drinking a good beer? We're the ones who picked the beers. Of course, we think it's going to be at least good.
Well, we've never had it though. That's the idea.
Have we
I
done this
understand
show
that.
before? Have we ever done it? It
I'm
feels
getting
like the
concerned.
first episode.
Yeah, I'm getting concerned. Good Lord.
I think we've come full circle. We did a full year's worth, and now we're just starting over.
Oh, wait a minute. A full year's worth? When did that happen?
Yeah. Apparently, our last episode was our year anniversary.
The St. Patrick's Day one?
We're just so fucking organized that
Did we
just
start our
didn't even
show on a
mention
St.
it.
Patrick's Day weekend?
We
I
busted.
don't know. Apparently, that's what I hear. I don't even know. I was told it was our 1 year anniversary.
Who told you this shit?
It was Vero.
What do you think?
Vero also told
The only
me.
organized person on this show,
Gabriel.
Gabriel. I miss that little anime.
So that being said, we're a full year into this show for some dumb reason. And we've just figured out that this is typically the part of the show where we introduce ourselves. I'm Daniel. This is Tiffany. That's Phil. Phil, you're still in St. Martin.
I am. I have 1 month left, so it's flying by.
Do they recognize weeks as months and like we do, or is it a different?
No, they're called Schmorgish, and I can't figure out the math yet. So
there's a translation there somewhere that I am lost on.
Yeah,
I love it.
But I am down here, which means I've got another drink that I found here that I've never found anywhere else.
Okay.
Now, it's not as exciting as the Rude Boy or the Magnum. It's just a everyday beer, but I randomly found it, and I also found that it's no longer in production, so no one can ever have this one.
Well, and you know it's fresh then.
Oh, I know. Because it's made in France, and then it was sent here, so you know this thing's been sitting on a shelf for many months, especially because it's super not that appealing, not a very exciting looking beer.
Okay.
And I just discovered by actually looking closely at it that it says sans gluten. So I'm drinking an organic, gluten-free brown ale. So you know it's going to be good.
Boy, you mentioned that cross-country trip, no gluten, and it's a brown ale? That was not what I was expecting.
Yeah. Organic beer made in France. It's called Brun Bio Sans Gluten.
Ooh.
It's German too, apparently.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's the worst French accent in the history of France.
It's almost like I'm not in France and hearing people talk French every day. It's like, no. But it could be interesting. So I'm going to crack this open. I'll let you know.
Are you gonna pour that in anything? I'd be interested to see what the gluten brown comes out as.
Okay, well, I did have my trusty little fancy thing here, but it's got some coloration on it. So let me grab a more clean glass here. Oh, stool down.
Stool down, which is probably what you'll be saying after you finish this gluten-free brown ale. Stool down.
Stool down. I got my white wine glass here.
Perfect.
All right, let's see it. You know what? It's pouring.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus. That's all the gluten. That's how they get rid of it. You got to let the gluten settle, and then it's gone.
This thing shook up a lot in transit, I think.
I just think it's maybe your first day on the job.
Right. Again, a year into this, you just poured the shittiest beer ever.
I didn't even pour it that hard. I did all right, I thought.
I mean, I have some notes.
Look, I don't have skills pouring into a wine glass yet. It's only been like 8 weeks of me doing this, but
that's fair. That is different.
There's the t-shirt.
There's your t-shirt, Phil. Stools down.
Oh, I will tell you, this smells awful.
Rude Boy awful or
no? It just regular. It smells really boozy, actually, which is interesting. That might just be because it's like old. It's fermented. It's fermented a long time.
It's double fermented on the boat ride.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's how they send things overseas still.
You know what? It's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised. It's really dark, actually. It's like chocolatey and caramelly.
Yep.
It's very malty. I have no complaints about it, actually. It's actually
I think this
good.
may be the first beer you've drank in its entirety that you purchased down there. So that's good.
Yeah, and you know what's best is that when I found this beer, it was the only one they had. Like there wasn't like a bunch lined up. Like it was literally just this random beer in the singles area, and I was like, all right. Whoop.
You went bar hopping in your 20s. You went to the singles area, found the random one left over, and took her home. Proud of you, Phil.
I do love them aged.
Barrel aged, though, you have a problem.
Yeah, and out of production.
And out of production.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's typically the name I go for. No longer in production.
I technically was in production, and then I turned it off immediately after meeting you.
Wow, gosh. That sounds way worse.
I mean, but it is true.
That is true, but it sounds way worse.
Yeah.
I thought about having kids, but
Then I met you.
Jesus, the world don't need that.
By the way, can you drive me there? I'm going to need a ride home.
Correct. Great first date. Thank you, Katie. This is a very common thing that we deal with in my household. A lot of stories coming out of the
woodwork.
woodwork.
This is on our Bash Daniel podcast that
Well,
Tiffany
it's been
and
a
I
year.
have.
Might as well.
At least it's not about trivia this time.
It will be soon when I fail trivia again. It's not quite my specialty.
Oh man, it's so weird drinking a beer I like that I brought on the show.
I'm excited for you, man.
I love the idea.
I'm actually gonna finish it.
It's so weird to drink a beer I like. Yeah.
That should be the
that is weird.
other shirt.
How many minutes are we on? Is this show over yet? How does this show work?
All right. So let's
hold on. I didn't ask you how your week was, and then you're gonna respond, it was okay, that's about it, and then we'll move on. How was your week?
Normal stuff, work, everything was good.
Yeah. All right. Now what are we doing, Tiffany?
I didn't get to talk, but it's fine, I guess. My week was all right.
Okay. Let's move on.
I'm glad you got to talk.
She's saving it for her wish you were beer.
No, actually, I'm not going to complain about that. I'm going to complain about something different.
About the wish you were beer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I've opted just not to speak about that here.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but good.
How do you not know?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh my
we
god.
talked about it for a long time yesterday.
Yesterday?
Are you listening?
Yesterday we talked about it?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my god.
This show is getting
This
out of
is
hand.
why. Obviously, that's
I haven't
why.
seen that one in a
That's
while. That was almost a new slide to me at this point because it's been that long.
Yeah.
So it's been going well.
Good times. Good times.
I like that I just made that for when you two like bicker on the show.
Yeah. Well, it's because you know us.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta get them to shut up.
Jesus. So that being said, we are having a beer this week.
We are.
We
It's
are
not
going to
this
drink
one.
a beer.
Apparently.
I'm running out of beers.
It's not a Rude Boy. It's not a gluten-free beer.
It's unfortunate.
We may or may not actually have a guest on from the brewery. They responded back to us, and it was kind of last minute, so we sent them the link. So someone from the brewery may just pop in before we're done with this, and which I think would be a shit ton of fun because we'll just see what happens.
I hope they come on during the Untappd reviews.
That would be way late. So they may or may not join at some point in the process. But this week we are doing the Premium Pale Czech Style Lager from Wild Provisions Beer Project. This is another beer out of Colorado. So this is a one that we got from our beer drop, which currently Beer Drop does a lot of Colorado beers. They're branching out now and starting to bring some more beers into the mix, more breweries into the mix from other areas. But historically, they've been mainly based off of Colorado breweries. So we've had a couple of different Colorado breweries on the show from the Beer Drop. We do have a link for the Beer Drop in the bottom in the About section, so you can get $10 off your first order. Not a bad gig. So
it's
check
good
that
now,
out.
especially with all the beers they've been added. It's a great deal.
Oh yeah. The list has become extremely more prevalent, which is our
We started
fraud.
using it about a year ago?
Yeah, pretty much a year ago.
Oh no, it was more than that because it was like right when the pandemic started was when they had just launched it in the first place.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
we were doing it before the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And like,
was there a before the show? I don't even know now.
how much have we done this show?
365 times. No, that's a year, but we have not done.
All right, so
right.
don't we have some footage, Phil, of this?
Yeah, we got a little promo video to show off what this place looks like.
When did that happen?
These are things that happen sometimes.
Holy shit! Roll it. Hot Matt. Oh, sorry. I had not seen that video, so I didn't know when that was going to end, but
It always ends the map.
I dug that music, though, whatever that was.
Oh, yeah, it's real smooth.
Yeah, whatever that Marvin Gaye-inspired smooth jazz was, that was all right.
So I have to say, I am super excited about this beer because I think this beer project, like what they have done there, visually, they are like, I'm sold already. I think that brewery looks ridiculous, like so fun.
Sure.
Looks like a great place. I love all the modern design they've gotten there. Their can art is also a really cool modern design. So like, who's ever doing all of their artwork, I'd love to ask someone. I think they're just really killing it in their design over there. So I'm hoping the beer is as good as the design.
What is wrong with you as a person? All right.
Well, with that, we have trivia.
Well, I think that may be the best you've ever timed history and facts slide.
I was ready for it. My hand was passing the mouse right as you said it.
God, I love it. So this is the portion of the show where we're going to do a little bit of what originally was history and facts, but is now morphed into more trivia. Sometimes it's about the brewery. Sometimes it's about the beer. Sometimes it's about a random movie that Tiffany and Phil wanted to talk about the week prior. It really can go a lot of different directions. That being said, though, Phil and I don't know the answers. Obviously, Tiffany curated this week's trivia, so she does know the answers. But if you're logged into YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, please feel free to comment along. You can also answer the questions and probably be wrong like me.
This sounds like a lot of fun.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like you really didn't hype that up.
Oh, I'm hyping it up.
In like
this is me hyped.
This is a fun activity that you can partake in.
Yes, this is great for you to feel better about yourself and how wrong you are. Continue.
All right. What makes a pale lager premium versus regular? Because this is called a premium pale lager. The ABV is above a certain percentage. B, the types or quality of ingredients used. C, the brewing process follows the strict German law.
The strict German law
of Reinheitsgebot.
God, we've had that word on so many episodes. I love it.
You think I would know
everyone's still up the creek on it.
Yeah.
And then D, it's like adding the word natural to foods. There's really no rule.
So I tend to agree with Andy on this one. I think there really is no rule about it. I think it's like the imperial or triple, or I don't think it boils down to ABV. I think it's whatever goes better on your can, makes it more attractive. So premium's always going to make something more attractive. Ask the rude boy.
That was made with premium ingredients.
Right. Which we know was a bold-faced lie. So, no, but I really do think it is. It's like adding the word natural to a food. Sure.
Yeah, I agree here. But I think underneath it all, I think it's probably B when it comes down to it, is that they're using premium ingredients and that sort of thing. So I think that there's no actual rule about putting it on, but I think when people think of premium, they're thinking a higher end quality of something.
Okay.
So I'm still going to go with D because I actually don't think that there is a rule. I think anyone can probably put the word premium on their beer.
Right. I feel like
I think it's an unwritten rule. So that's my.
I'm okay. Oh, Casey, you son of a gun.
Let's find out. Let's ask Casey.
Yeah, hold on. Okay,
we'll bring the trivia question out.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring Casey in from Wild Provisions.
Good luck.
We did not get a chance to chat with him before the show, so this could be the best or the worst thing that's ever happened to both of our careers.
Come on in, Casey.
That is a lot of pressure. A hell of it.
What's going on, Casey? How are you, bud?
Doing excellent. How are you guys? Sorry, I'm a little bit late here.
Hey, no worries, man.
Hey, you're here. That's all.
I'm Daniel. This is Tiffany. The bearded gentleman is Phil.
You're also bearded. And so is Casey.
Not like Phil, though.
Phil, nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Any one of us is a bearded gentleman, I think.
Correct.
Except for me.
Well, not anymore.
Well, Daniel's the bigger beard in that relationship.
So we're currently
good start.
Good start. We're currently in the portion of the show where we're actually doing trivia about the beer / maybe the brewery. I don't have any of the answers, neither does Phil. Tiffany put together the trivia. So, would you like to see the first question again? So we know.
I would love to see it.
I'd love
All
it.
right, so and then
Usually-
you can give us the answer and the details.
I hope I can get it right.
God damn it! I hope so.
I was gonna
There
say
you go.
usually I share all the questions and the answers with the brewery guest, and one, to verify that my research is correct, but two, make sure that they have it top of mind because sometimes it's something you forget. But yeah, so this question has to do with what makes a pale lager premium versus regular. So ABV has to be above a certain percentage. The types, quality, if ingredients used are higher, the brewing process follows the strict German law, and I'm not going to say it again. And D, it's like adding the word natural to foods. There is no rule.
If you were in America, which we are, but then D would totally be correct. If you were in Germany, then C could apply. B doesn't matter. But in Czech, ABV would be the answer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is a ABV or degrees Plato, as they're referred to in. They don't really use ABV; they use degrees Plato in Czech. But that's definitely a defining quality of different types of beer.
It is, yeah. And so there, it needs to be above a 4.5. So
See, I didn't remember the exact percentage, so I appreciate that.
yes.
Don't worry, Vero's here. She's got you.
Yeah.
Wait, well then
And
I'm
she
a little
says thank you.
I'm a little confused about this because it's a 4.4.
It's a
Ooh,
Canadian mistake. They
there you go. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So degrees Plato and ABV aren't explicitly connected.
Correct.
It's more about a degrees Plato, which is your original gravity, the amount of sugar in the beer at the beginning of fermentation, and then that doesn't always work out to what your exact final ABV is. That's certainly on the lower side of a premium pale lager, but it's it's an iffy boundary. It's right there. There's certainly no Reinheitsgebot law.
It's
Yeah.
close.
It's close.
So now you said it has to do with degrees Plato, and underneath it says 12 degrees.
12 degrees Plato.
E.
Right.
So even obviously it's not anywhere near the 4.4 that the ABV is. So I'm just
So degrees Plato refers to the density, I guess, of the wort before you fermented it. So it's interesting. In Czech, in America, you're going to see percent ABV next to every beer, but in Czech, you're going to see degrees Plato, which is a little more vague. It's not, as a consumer, could mean a lot of things. They know more about beer there than we do, I think, because your average consumer here would see degrees Plato and be very confused.
it would be me asking you this question or Googling it. That's literally how I would figure that out.
Pretty much.
So I guess. Oh, go ahead.
So just so I know, if I was there, and is the higher number the higher the alcohol content in a degrees
Typically.
Plato? Okay.
Yeah, and
just want to
brewing,
make sure it went that same way.
Typically in brewing, the more sugar you add, then the more there is for the yeast to eat, and the more alcohol you get as a result, and that's true for all beer. But the big question is that difference. 12% is what you start with, or 12 degrees what you start with. What did you end with? Well, there's the math to figure out your ABV. If you have a lot of non-fermented sugars, you're going to end up with a higher finished final gravity, final Plato, but then you're not going to have as much alcohol. So you need to know the beginning and the end to know the actual percentage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's interesting in Czech. They're like, here's the first half of the equation. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck out there. Let's see how it goes.
Right. Like you have no idea how long this fermented. Like I haven't given you any of the other clues.
There's no other information. You could add a lot of lactose to a beer and add a lot more gravity to it, and it's not going to result in more alcohol. Lactose is a non-fermentable sugar.
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
There you go. I want to preface this with guys. I don't brew beer.
No, yeah, understood.
Well, you just said more than I've ever. I just learned so much, and you say you don't brew it, but you clearly know about it.
We do serve it, so yeah.
All right, well, let's see how you do on the rest of this trivia.
Yeah, you can't fuck it up now.
I'm sure our brewers will watch this in a second and make fun of me.
Yeah.
All right. So Pilsner is to blank as lager is to beer. I thought I'd bring it back to the SAT moment.
Yeah, I did so well on those.
With the analogies here. I didn't do great, but I somehow made it through a lot of school.
I don't know why there's a double semicolon between the two. This is already confusing.
I know where you're going, but I actually don't know if I know the answer. I'm going to be completely honest.
Good.
Oh, it's fine.
That is a correct
I-
answer. You win.
I know the answer. So it's fine.
I
Tell
really
me. Yeah, I'm curious.
So
I feel like at this point in life I should know, but
well,
Anagram, right?
so-
Is that what these are called? Anagrams?
yeah. So all lagers are beer.
Right.
All pilsners are
Lager?
well, Vero says pale ale, which obviously means it's pale ale, but
no.
But a pale ale would be incorrect because it's a pale lager.
right.
Okay.
So,
So I will give everyone a moment to answer because it does take a while.
I already
in the
took a
comments.
moment. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Just, but yeah, this is just a simpler way.
oh, was I jumping the gun here? I thought
Oh,
this.
you're good.
I
Oh
apologize.
no, you're good.
You're allowed to answer.
Okay.
Whatever.
Pale lager. Sorry, English is not her first language, so we're gonna give her that one.
Yeah, she
I
speaks
didn't
it better,
remember
better
I
than
thought
all
we were
of us.
English isn't her
recapping
first
questions here,
language.
so we're good.
Listen,
All
I don't
right.
speak 2 languages, so I can't say anything.
I
Uh,
broke it, Charlie.
I wish our tapper manager Alex was trying to be on. She's got a sick kid, but she's from Czech, so
Oh, nice.
she could probably crush us all on this right here.
Yeah, you could phone a friend, but yeah, that's agreed, Andy. Hardest trivia question so far.
So it is lager. All pilsners are lagers, but not all lagers are pilsners. And all lagers are beer, and not all beer is
Jesus,
lagers.
you know I went to theater school. This is the hardest question ever.
All right, so we're gonna do anagrams every single week.
Right?
Yeah.
'Cause they're going over real well.
The only reason I know what an anagram is because it's in a song that
Is
I
it an
like.
anagram or is it an analogy?
No. What?
You probably
I
should have
can't-
looked that up before you started writing them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Uh,
fine. I knew what it meant. I just don't remember that. It's like, the
Can you-
Rhine Heights.
Can you
Noble.
say the actual sentence again? No. So
Ryan
all,
Heiskebach.
yeah. Well,
that
yes.
one?
So all pilsners are,
Lagers,
Loggers.
and all lagers are beer.
but not.
Not all beer is lagers, and not all lagers are pilsners.
I wore the shirt for the day. I wore
I love
Oh, nice.
the correct.
I know.
But
I
I
wish.
still didn't know the answer.
I wish I'd have got the hat. No, there's a guy that who's got the lager. Like he just says it like 7 times.
Yep.
It's a great hat.
Wasn't that on 30 Rock? Wasn't that one of Dude's
Yes.
hats? Okay. And I think
Let's get back to classic trivia with a true or false.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God, a 50-50. These are the only ones I get right.
All right. So, true or false, Wild Provisions Premium Pale Lager is modeled after the original cave lagered Pilsner Urquell. Urquell.
I think it's Urkel, which is
Yeah.
it's a Family Matters issue.
Yeah. Great beer, though. Family
Great
Matters
beer.
is a
I'll say
great
it's-
theme beer.
I'll say it's a Pilsner Urquell.
Urquell.
Okay.
It is cave lagered, and it's a little more bitter than a traditional Pilsner or German style Pilsner for sure. Definitely more hop character, and it's more diacetyl.
Mm.
That's a big word.
Often considered an off flavor in beer, but considered acceptable in Czech Pilsners, and considered maybe even expected. So I cannot taste diacetyl. It's great because it's an off flavor, and I do not know. I just can't pick it up. But a lot of people do, and Pilsner Urquell notably bitter and diacetyl.
I also don't have that taste bud.
Me either. It's supposed to taste like buttered popcorn at its worst.
Oh, getting jackpot. I'm gonna love
Movie
this.
theater buttered popcorn at its worst case flavor, and I just am not susceptible to that off flavor. So lucky me.
Yeah. That's like a.
The off flavor conversation is always one of my favorites because it's different for everyone as to what they pick up or what they may or may not pick up. And I'm like the fact that you said like movie theater popcorn, but the worst end of it, I'm like immediately like, oh, so like my grandmother used to burn the shit out of. I dig it. This is a nostalgic thing for me.
Yeah. I'll pick up on oxidized hop before anyone else at the brewery. If an IPA is going old, I'll be the first to know. But I don't know if ever. Yeah, diacetyl is just not on my tongue.
That's weird. I'm for it though. I like it. It keeps everybody like liking different things or enjoying different beers. What are you looking at?
I was just checking trivia.
Oh, good lord.
Any answers yet? What are
Oh, I mean, it's obviously. I would think it would be true because this seems like a really far stretch for Tiffany to just go out on a limb and be like, after the cave lager Pilsner.
Yeah, she just makes up a random beer.
I mean,
because we do have some questions where you can tell Tiffany just really made some shit up, and we're like, oh, that sounds like Tiffany.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm trying to do this and listen to my clients talk or like whatever. Just kidding, work. I'm never on my other.
Yeah, I was like, boy, you just outed yours though.
Yeah.
So it is true then, right, Tiffany?
True, yes.
Yes.
All right. I think we got some other information about the original Pilsner up here, but I'm having difficulty reading it.
Very small. Okay. Pilsner, is
the world's first golden Pilsner, the source of inspiration for all Pilsner beers since 1842. It inspired a worldwide brewing revolution. Over 70% of all beer drank today is in the Pilsner style. The beer is still crafted with complete integrity. They say.
They say.
I'm not there to monitor it, so I don't know.
All right.
All right.
So now we're on question 3. Which
wait. We get to open
this beer now.
So typically, Casey, this is the portion of the show where we finally crack the beer about more than halfway through trivia. So that way we can try it a little bit.
So I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm already down a beer anyway.
Yeah, no, we have other beer prior to, but this is the beer we're going to have on the show. So
we like to give it a few sips before we actually review it. So.
Correct.
Where are you guys physically? That's something I don't know the answer to.
Yeah, so Tiffany and I.
That's not a trivia question.
That is a trivia question, but I think everyone knows the answer. So Tiffany and I are in Virginia. Phil, you're typically out of LA?
Yeah, normally out of Los Angeles, but I'm on a work trip down in the island of St. Martin right now.
You guys review a lot of Colorado beers on your show.
Yeah, so when we originally started this, we were almost exclusively using Beer Drop at the start of the pandemic.
It was something that Phil could get because at the time he was living in New York City, and that we could get that was consistent because Tavor is still kind of regional. So we tried to do that, but he couldn't get the same beers as us and vice versa. And we were trying not to break any rules by shipping beer early on.
Now it's the Wild West.
It's the Wild West, and it's fine. We just label it as candles and
spaghetti sauce.
You have to look at what your region's like. What can I only get where you live?
Yep.
So I did green chili, jars of green chili, because that's a Colorado food staple.
That makes sense. Yeah.
No one at FedEx even questions it. Like, of course you're shipping your friend in.
I'll just ship York River oysters, and they'll be like, "Oh, this box is wet."
Sure.
Like, yep, never mind.
Yeah.
I probably should figure something out. We got peanuts here.
Yeah,
Virginia peanuts, but that's going to make a way different sound.
Yeah.
If any cops are watching, I never do that.
Oh, well, trust me. If any cops are watching, you're probably on the wrong channel. Go back to whatever porn you were watching.
Next question.
Yeah, roll it.
Coolships coolship are broad, open top, flat vessels used for check all that apply. A, cooling the wort. B, creating a spontaneous fermentation with the airborne yeasts and bacteria present in the brewery. C, drying the hops before making the wort. Or D, boiling the wort.
This is a tough one because I feel like you could do that almost. You could do all of these almost on the same piece of machinery.
Let me know when you want me to chime in. I'm trying to give people a chance to type in their questions. But
you keep your mouth shut, Casey, and let. No, I'm just kidding. We know you know the answers.
Daniel and I are going to guess first, and then you can give us answers. Yes. By that point, answers have come in.
Vero has already said A and B, which I assume is correct.
That was a check all of that apply one. Okay.
Yeah.
Is Vero the beer nerd regular?
Yeah. Yes. So Vero does a lot of our blogs and research work for us. So she always knows the answer.
Yes.
I can tell she knows what she's talking about.
She's my go-to on trivia. I'm going to disagree with her, though, just because...
You always do.
I despise her trivia knowledge. And just maybe I'll get this one, but I'll go C and D.
Drying and boiling.
It dries them, then you have to clean the whole thing off, add water, boil it.
It's like one of those like the washer dryer combos that it like washes your clothes and then it like changes completely to a different.
We're brewing in Japan. I love our ingenuity.
It's the 3-in-1 shampoo, you know.
It's okay, just get it everywhere.
That's VO5.
Nothing's ever gone wrong there. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with B because it's the most wordy. That's the only reason.
I mean,
I'm
B.
going with it.
I do really think B is at least one
It's
of the
part of it.
answers because that would make sense. Because I
All
know.
right, Casey.
I can tell Phil does good at standard. I can tell Phil does good at standardized tests because you don't need to know the answer. You can use the clues, the context clues. But Vero nailed it. It's A and B. However, this is a great question because there's also a we'll call it E. So traditionally, coolships, if you imagine a time before science and microbiology and refrigeration, they had hot, sugary grain water, and they were just leaving it out, and God is good, and it turns into alcohol. And like ancient Egyptian days and all that. But eventually, people figured out that if they cooled their wort down quicker, they got a better product, a more reliable fermentation. And we know that's because brewer's yeast is happy at that 68, 70 degrees range. So the sooner you get it there, the better. The longer your time you spend warmer, the more time foreign bacteria can take hold. But eventually with the advent of, coolants and refrigeration and stainless steel and microbiology, understanding what yeast is, coolships weren't necessary. We just cool it down really rapidly and pitch yeast. But to make some of the classic sours and lambic style beers from Belgium, you'll fill hot wort into a shallow, wide vessel, a coolship. Think of a really shallow, wide bathtub. Open it up, do it on a cold winter night, open up to the air, and that'll cool the wort over about 12 hours. And in the process, you're getting, which the people back then did not know, wild bacteria in the air was inoculating the beer. Brewer's yeast, which is Saccharomyces. You had Brettanomyces and Lactobacillus. They're all taking hold and doing their thing. And so a coolship in one part of, the state or the country or the world is going to taste different than a beer coolship in another place or another building even. Each building kind of has their yeast terroir is a good way to describe it. So wild provisions, we make Czech lagers. We also make wild sours. All of our wild sours go through a coolship that's open up, and you couldn't replicate that beer in another building or another town. Something similar for sure, but not the same. But the Czech lagers, we don't want to be sour. So we don't want the wild yeast from the air. So we have a second coolship that's in a clean room with a HEPA filter. So no foreign bacteria at all. And we don't want to inoculate with wild yeast. We just want to pitch lager yeast. Right. But because we're following tradition, we aren't using filters. We aren't using fining agents. So we're using geometry and physics. We're kind of cold crashing the beer, which separates the wort, which separates liquids from solids. And so we're kind of fining the beer right then. That's our filtration before we even ferment it, just to separate liquids and solids with what's called cold crashing. You're shocking the beer.
Right.
And so then we're just transferring from there the clear cold liquid away from the solids, yeast and grain and all that into some open top fermenters. So super esoteric, traditional, pain in the butt way to make beer that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're like the sailboat of modern boating. Like
we have all this technology.
Motors. We can do this in half the time.
That's a beautiful coolship room. Actually, that's incredible. There's a lot of wood in that room. I don't know what brewery this is, but wood is. I assume it's unfinished. It's super porous. It's going to hold a lot of that bacteria. Our hypothesis is that a lot of the bacteria and the culture lives in the wood, not the air, not the room so much as the wood. Super dense. So that's a beautiful coolship. And I love the windows. But
this is actually a trivia question because false. This is Mike Tyson's bathroom.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love it. He's the bachelor pad. That's where the magic happens, I take.
There's just a tiger in the corner of it. And,
So yeah, A and B are correct. You cool the wort. You inoculate with wild yeast. But in our case, and I don't know about Pilsner Urquell, to be honest. I have not been, and I can't speak accurately if that's how they do it. But we use a separate cool ship for cold crashing the beer, separating the liquids from solids, and filtering it that way. Because at no point do we use filters or fining agents or anything artificial.
Right, yeah, because when I read the can, I was like, oh, so like it really is an unfiltered.
Our
like,
whole thing is making beer in the hardest
naturally filtered. Yeah.
and I don't think anyone notices or cares, but we enjoy it.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, you'll find out if I care. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a great beer, but we love the fact that we're not trying to like hit you over the head with here's how pretentious we are and how we make it. We just want you to come in and have a good beer with your friends. And if you have questions, I hope I can give you all the coolest information. But if in the meantime you're just downing beers with your friends after work, that's all good.
I would say, but the fact that you're hitting both of those is super cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. That's all right. Beer for the people, and for beer should accompany fun things. But if you want to make it the focus, then all good.
Yeah,
yep.
It's beer for not only beer nerds but everyone else too.
Yeah. other brewers absolutely love what we're doing.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
people in the local office park like it for other reasons. Yeah.
Correct. And that's usually the telltale. Like, other breweries are like, oh, I really dig what they're doing. Then you're probably doing something.
I would say we need to hook you up with Eric from Benchtop. By the way, we had him on a while back. He is like also super nerdy with beer and a fantastic. And Benchtop is one of the like up and coming breweries around us. So we will.
As long as you don't hit me against him in trivia, then
No. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But he's heavy in the foeder game in our area, which is fun.
Yeah, and they just opened a second location.
Yeah.
So
speaking of foeders, I think this true or false question has a foeder in it. So
yes.
Should I write this one? I think I did.
Fermenting in open wood foeders and lagering in horizontal tanks are not only authentic Czech methods, but they provide a healthy environment for yeast to thrive, albeit not as quickly as a closed stainless steel tank.
Ooh.
True or false?
To me, this feels true because this feels true to me because I feel like Tiffany just copy and pasted this one. None of these words come up.
That's a lot of words for Tiffany.
Do you know what I do for a living?
Yeah, but you put dash albeit.
This feels like copy and paste unless she changed one word to make it false.
Right, which is always the problem.
Which is something she does. So
it's always the problem. But Vero says true. Katie says true.
I didn't say anything. I just smiled a lot.
I know, right?
I smile when I hear foeder as well. So that's, I'm here for it.
All right,
Daniel, what do you say?
I'll stick to my trivia appearance. I'll just say false just to play devil's advocate, but it is 100% true.
Yeah, that was too specific to be false.
Crazy. I
want to be on the one where you write something out so detailed and out of left field that but it's not true. That's the one. Yeah, that will be the next trick question.
The Bible. It's been done, Casey.
They beat me to it by a few years. Yeah.
By a few.
Yeah. All correct things, but different reasons, I guess. But yeah. The best thing I like to explain to people when you talk about horizontal lagering tanks, sometimes you go to a brewery and they have those tanks on their sides and you're like, they're lagering tanks. And why is that? It's called hydrostatic pressure. But if you've ever swam to the bottom of a pool and it's a lot of pressure on your head, you're gone scuba diving and whatever, the more further you go down in water, there's a lot of pressure. That's tough on you. Well, it's also tough on yeast cells. So a really tall, skinny tank is great for square footage space in real estate, but it's not as easy on yeast cells. And I guess loggers more specifically, and they're also in the tank for longer. So having them a more horizontal tank means less weight above you, and then yeast cells will also drop out of suspension quicker because they have less far to go. So you end up with a clearer beer with that ideally tastes a little bit better. You can certainly make fantastic lagers in any vessel, but a shallow, wide, or horizontal long vessel should give you a better beer.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And we're starting to see a lot of horizontal foeders in our area. Like she mentioned benchtop earlier. They've got a couple. There's a couple other that are popping up.
They have them stacked too.
Right.
I think one of the previous breweries we did in New York City, they had like in their basement, they had like 2 on top of each other. So then they were still fitting like 4 in the same space.
Yeah, they still made a good space with it. But like you said, we're making the brew process actually a little bit easier, not just pretty.
Foeders are beautiful, and I think everyone should have them, and they make beer taste delicious.
Yes.
Trust me, you're preaching to the choir. Our first shirt is going to be all about the foeder. Like literally, it's a
literally
lifestyle.
what I'm wearing here is
I know, right?
Foeder lager shirt. So I'm with you on that one. Yeah. Yeah, they can. At Wild Provisions, our foeders are exclusively for wild sours. And the lagers are all in stainless tanks that can hold pressure. That's an important part, as we do this natural carbonations. But at Four Noses, our other brewery, we do regular foeder lager series. That's lagers aged in wood. Yeah,
I love it. It's honestly, it's become one of our favorite things over the past couple of years. Like,
I can't say I ever had many before a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think it's coming around. Like, I mean, I don't think it's new, but I think it's new to the region.
Right. Well, I was going to say, so in the same, I'd like to say it's in the same vein as like hazy IPAs, like kind of like came up and then they took over.
Right.
There's like a big part of me that's like, I want foeder lagers to do the same thing of like, all of a sudden that is like the thing that everyone's trying to get on board with. Because that's my jam.
But we've all had really shitty hazy IPAs. I would be
You're
really
saying every
shitty foeder lager.
No, I mean,
like,
but in the same way that Casey said that it like depends on like the wild yeast and stuff. If you're using your foeder in a location that the wood is going to be able to, like if you're doing sours and your lagers right next to each other
in the same damn space,
and in the foeders, like it's going to, they're going to be.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Have a problem.
The foeder becomes so specific on what you can or how exclusively you need to use it for a certain strain or a certain style.
Yeah,
I would hate to see
wood absorbs yeast and bacteria, so that is it's porous. So definitely start to point a vessel in a direction once you've put something in it.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly.
I read that there's I forget which brewery was doing it, but they started their foeders were lager, and then after the first time where it like pulled any of like the charred, like the toasted sides or whatever, like that original like flavor out, then they moved it to a different location and then it was a sour foeder. So that was like the way.
Because I think you can work that way. You can't work the other way.
No, I think once it'd be really difficult to turn a sour foeder clean.
Yeah.
And we've all had a sour foeder, and it's hard to go back.
It is.
What is wrong with you people?
I'm worried about you.
You should be. I like when I get Phil every now and again. Phil's like, all right, hold on, I gotta lean back a little bit and just cough or do something.
Well, there was the time that he like choked and then coughed into a fan. Like,
hey, we got a lot of good footage on you, Phil.
Yeah, I know. I forget that. I don't know why I came up with this idea to do this live because I can't edit anything out about myself. Casey, so we are going to now go into our review portion, which we will kick you out of when we do because we don't want to review it in front of you because that's
I'll look at this mute button right here. Yeah.
But I mean, you can stay in the waiting room. We may occasionally drag you in after.
You would be the first person that we pull in randomly afterwards, and we just.
Do you guys want my vote on what it should be scored at? Because I'm biased, but you know.
Well, so this is on Untappd. This is 1 to 5 bottle caps.
But before we even get there, I want to know. I guess have we talked enough about this that we don't need to ask any more questions?
No, I that's what I was saying is I want to know, Casey, what should I be tasting here? What makes this beer special? Kind of sell it to us before we score it, and then that'll help our score. I'm sure.
For what I haven't already talked about, we import Pilsner malt from Czech. So we're using proper Czech malt. We're using a triple decoction process. I don't know if you guys are familiar with decoction, but it is a transferring of wort and malt back and forth between a boiling tank and a not boiling tank to extract the most amount of sugars and dextrins and flavors possible without extracting the non-desirable flavors. A very old school way of making beer, but there's definite benefit to it. It just means it takes 12 or 14 hours to brew that beer as opposed to 6. So pain in the butt way to make beer. Again, it's kind of our seems to be our theme for marginal gains. So it's just marginally better than a different beer in that sense. And we're using Saaz hops, and then it is naturally carbonated. So as beer, as it ferments, we actually hold it under pressure. Mm-hmm. So it absorbs its own CO2 produced by the yeast as opposed to forced carbonating it later. Should be a cleaner taste in that sense. So lots of tiny things that I'm not even sure if I could pick up. Pinpoint. If I tasted 2 beers side by side, I don't know. But I think on the whole, it creates a very authentic, very delicious, full flavored. For being as easy drinking it is, I love how full flavored the malt profile is.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Now,
I'll leave you guys to decide if that's a good thing.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I have a couple of things. One, is this a beer that you have year round?
At varying degrees, Play-Doh, yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Second thing. Well, actually, do you have any other questions before I do second?
Oh no, please.
Oh, I was gonna say, is there anything that you guys have coming up at the brewery that you want to like pitch, like upcoming beers, cool things?
Yeah, with Wild Provisions, we only do wild sours and Czech lagers. Neither one is made very quickly. That lager took about 50, 60 days to make. The wild sours might take 3 months to 4 years. So there's some, we always use local Colorado fruits. We're always excited for harvest season, but not to name one thing specifically, but I get excited because every summer brings us all kinds of new and exciting stuff with the fruits we have access to and beers that have been kind of cellaring all winter, and seeing what barrels are ready. We start tasting barrels and seeing what's ready, what's not. So I don't always know coming. But if you're in Boulder, there's a ton of sick breweries. If you're in Colorado, there's hundreds of amazing breweries. But if you want to geek out for a minute, we have a cool one.
Well, I was going to say, I can't remember who said it earlier, but you're like one of the most like just like well-spoken, but just like highly like knowledgeable beer people we've had on. So I really appreciate all of your like beer nerdiness.
I appreciate that. I'm not even in the top 3 at our brewery, so
which is a scary thought.
Which is amazing. Like that is like so exciting to me as a like person who I feel like I know enough about beer to be slightly dangerous, but still know absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I've been in the brewery world for 7 years, and I'm continuously humbled by the people around me.
Wicked Matt. Yeah.
How about them apples?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate you taking time for this. I know it was kind of like last minute trying to coordinate. So,
Who muted it?
I don't know.
Sorry.
He's muting it because there's got noise in the background.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh shit, did I hit something?
Yeah. No.
Oh gosh.
Calm down, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like we haven't done the show for a year.
Mary and Joseph.
We just hit a year.
All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Glad I got to meet you, and thank you guys for drinking our beer. Always stoked when someone gets to drink our beer. We're a very small brewery, so when someone else in 3 people in other states get to taste what we made, that's super exciting.
Yeah, I was gonna say Barrow's drinking this in New York. Phil's drinking this in St. Martin, so he's not even in the States.
Pretty much have to go to the tap room to drink it, so that's super rad.
Yeah, I love that.
That's cool. Well, Casey, if you ever have anything else you want us to try, we're more than happy to get it mysteriously.
We'll get you guys some funky wild sour stuff. That sounds like
I love it.
That sounds real good. All right, Casey. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Cheers.
Thanks, man.
Bye. Cheers.
That was fun.
I love it.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm actually super stoked that worked out because like it was last minute of us like checking emails to make sure that
we weren't sure if anybody was going to be on.
Right.
And then like when he did come on, I was like, well, we've never talked to this person.
Right. Like, let's just awkwardly talk to you live.
So fucking perfect.
It was great. Yeah. And I love that I had to like Google half the words he was saying while the show was happening.
Well, that's just because you don't read well, but that's
No, I don't.
You gotta go to the school that what is it? Teaches kids to read good.
Yeah, Derek Zinlander School for Kids Who Can't Read Good. And stuff.
I can't hear good.
All right, so we're at 55 minutes. Let's get to this. Let's review this. All right, so tonight we are reviewing the Premium Pale Czech Style Lager, which Tiffany is holding awkwardly in front of this can. This is from Wild Provisions Beer Project. They are
Out of Boulder, Colorado.
Boulder,
Yep.
Colorado. Who wants to go
Once
first?
again, someone coming on from Colorado and awesome. The breweries out there have been so good to us, and they've been so
They
awesome.
really have.
Well, except for one.
Well, we don't want to talk about them.
Shot us down twice.
Twice.
Yeah, we won't bring them
Twice.
up. We won't even
You
give
actually, like,
them
go out to
anything.
Colorado. I'm gonna burn that place. I
No.
can't say that on no. Who wants to go
So
first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I love this beer. I think it's interesting because it's such a classic beer that, you know, sometimes we have so many random weird things happening. We get some like strange beers. We get these like, this is just tastes like a freaking beer.
Right.
And I agree with what he was saying with where it's like, it's light, it's crushable, but it's also got like such a bold flavor, such a good flavor. So I'm going, because of this style on the Untappd rating, for me, I think this is a 4.25.
Okay. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the style alone, and after learning some more about the beer, that helps a ton, obviously. For me, it is as smooth as I think any beer can be.
Yeah.
In regards to how they filter or don't filter things. It's about as clean as smooth as a beer that you would want from a beer, which sounds weird, but you know what I mean. It's for a beer this color to go down this easy and be a little creamier, a little easier, a little smoother. Yeah, I'm sold. It's a 4.5 for me. This is, I could drink 1,200 of these, but
that's right where I was between. I was between the 4.25 and the 4.5, and then I just dropped it at the very last second.
Fair.
Tiffany.
So I love that this like that has that really smooth but kind of like bready like flavor. I fucking love bread.
Definitely bready. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and Pilsners are one of my favorite beer styles because they are like beer and they are like a palate cleanser when the whole world has been so like IPA or hazy or let's throw the weirdest shit into this thing and see what happens kind of beer. Like the like standard lagers, they are my jam. Between this and like the Dunkels, like I will drink those all day long.
This is where I live.
It's where I'd like to live.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, between that and cask beers, if people could make more cask beers. But anyway, I digress. So I have been teetering anywhere between a 4.5 to a 5. Like it's that good on like where I like it. I also really like that like it's like got like kind of stuff in it, but like it tastes really clean. And I think that's just because it's naturally filtered. And I feel like the carbonation bubbles are bigger. Like, I don't know. I swear I'm not drunk. But it like, it's like seemed like a really pretty beer and it's like really cool.
Yep.
So because of that, I'm going to just go with the middle of that and do 4.75.
Okay.
So I'll bring up your shitty score, Phil.
Shitty score? 4.25 is a great score.
It is.
Anything above a 4.
I love this beer. I really think that if anyone is in the area, like you need to go to this place. Like and not even just this
especially
one,
if you can only really get this like in house and they're really doing like
the like cool shit that
wild
they talk
fermented
about.
sours and wild like please Jesus.
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot.
I just want a brewery tour.
To me, if someone was like, give me a really good beer that is a beer, like this is exactly it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing. They're not, like you said, they're not like doing anything crazy with it. They're just giving you.
You know
really
what's funny to
good
me
beer.
though is like the idea of if you wanted to if somebody was like, I want a beer, like an actual beer, and you were like, oh, this is perfect. This is so complicated from a regular beer making standpoint.
I know.
Like you can make an IPA in half the time and do all the things in half the time.
Right.
This is not an uncomplicated beer, which I think makes it so much better than just here's a regular beer.
Well, the beer nerd in me 100% appreciates the like complicatedness of this, but the beer drinker in me loves the fact that this is a delicious beer.
Right, that I can just drink this beer.
Yeah, like this is
the
exactly
flavor of beer.
This is exactly what I need at the end of a day when I don't want to keep working, but probably know that I need to at least look over the PowerPoint one more time. And
are we doing Wish You Were Beer already? Or?
Oh, we're getting there.
Oh, okay.
I promised I wouldn't complain about work during my Wish You Were Beer though. But anyway, this beer is great. I'm excited to see if we can find some more other stuff on Beer Drop too.
True story.
Yeah. And I think at this point, the three of us are going to have to do a Colorado beer tour and just go
because so far, like three out of the four we've had
more than that.
Showed up on the show.
It's been a lot. All right.
All right, so we have given Premium Pale Czech Style Lager from Wild Provisions Beer Project out of Boulder, Colorado, a 4.5.
Yeah,
that's a good score for the show.
Yeah.
All right, and we have one more section to do.
What? All right, so for those of you unfamiliar with the show, this is where we take just a quick chance to digress a little bit and maybe chat about something going on in the world, something in our personal lives, something we regret. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess that's my cue.
That we wish was actually beer versus what it is. So I'll go first. Mine's quick and easy. I had a dentist. Yeah, shut up.
Also, Casey, if you are still listening, we're going to bring you in for this. So think something that you wish was beer this week. Continue. Just giving him a heads up. I'm giving him a little warning. We don't normally do that, but he was a great guest, so I'm giving him warning that he might come back.
Yeah, that was real stand up of you. Otherwise, you could have been like, "Go."
Yeah.
So I just wish the dentist was beer.
Yeah, you had a rough one.
I had a dentist appointment, so I go to the dentist every 6 months, but I'm never quite ready to go to the dentist. I'm always ready for a beer.
I love the dentist.
Well, they never give you bad news because you're attractive. But for me, they're like, well, we're going to have to fix all that.
My dentist is also attractive.
Drop your pants. We got to fix a few things. What?
Also, my dentist is a proctologist. No.
He does the back first, and then he just goes right to the mouth.
Right back in the gums. No, I just wish the dentist was beer.
A2M.
So I would look forward to seeing it. That's all.
I wish waking up early was beer. I'm always excited for beer. I am never excited to wake up. I would like to hit the snooze button 900 times. I don't hit snooze on beer.
Are you telling me you wake up early for beer? We could arrange this.
No, I don't think I'd wake up early for beer. I'm just saying, like, if someone was like, hey, you want a beer? I'm like, then hit 10 minutes snooze on that.
Sounds like you're getting a keg in the bedroom, Daniel. Finally.
There's so many ways I can take that. Phil, what do you got?
We're going to bring in Casey first, then I'll go.
Yes.
Okay.
Casey.
That was an unexpected prompt, but I had to go on the podcast today, and it was brutal, and I wish, it was more fun. No. No, I'm just kidding. I had a great week, but I've got a mountain of – I'm redoing my entire backyard, ripping out the grass and putting in artificial grass this weekend. So I think there'll be a lot of beers, but I wish it was all beer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Drinking all the beer won't hurt your back, but probably redoing.
I don't want like a real crooked fake lawn,
Right. That's different.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming back in, Casey.
I love it, Casey. Thanks, man.
All right. For me, I wish that shitty cars were beer. Because when I got here, they rented me a real shitty car. And if it was beer, I'd be like, nah, shitty beer, I'll take that. It's no big deal. But a shitty car, that's the worst.
I thought you
all right.
technically picked the shitty car.
Yeah, but they still gave it to me. They still
Yeah, but it's still on them.
Sorry. Well,
Yeah.
I don't get to read that.
It's
So,
fine. It was
Let
Bear
Vera
Mom
say.
says,
Right
I
here.
wish transitional weather was beer. I'd know what beer to wear. Yes.
Fair.
It's a lot of layering.
Wear
The art
beer.
of layering.
Paddington Bear.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
All right. What are we doing next week? Anyone know?
Nope.
If you could tell me, that would be
It's
great.
another can that's blackish. I think.
Yeah, it almost looks exactly like the one we had
We almost
tonight.
grabbed that one.
Yeah,
out
we
of
just grabbed the
fridge.
wrong beer out of the beer fridge earlier.
Yeah.
So we are doing next week. We are doing past and present. Ooh, gotta get my eyes out of
Cover
there.
your
There we
face, idiot.
go. I
Okay.
know.
Oh, it's the export.
Yeah,
From,
yeah.
That's the New York beer, right?
This is by Other Half Brewing.
Yeah.
It's the export stout. There's a lot of words on there, so I'm not going to read it, but it's a 7.5er, so we're
I
back.
love it.
Well, yeah, because remember when we had Gun Hill on, they were talking about the export beers and they were higher ABV so they could be shipped.
Right.
Yep. And then we had the export stout Guinness last week.
Yeah.
Was that last week? Yeah. So we got another export stout. I'm excited to do another stout.
Yeah, me too.
And this one, and Other Half is a great brewery. I've had a bunch of their beers, so I'm excited because this one should be very good.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
But you guys know I love when I don't like the beer on the show. It's my favorite.
That's actually one of my favorites. When you don't
I
like
know.
the beer is one of my favorites.
Oh, it's my favorite. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's so great.
When it does, it's a rude boy.
I'm gonna have to bring a rude boy for next week. I think I gotta bring the rude boys back. You know.
I love it.
All right. Who wants to close out the show this week? This has been a good episode. But we are running.
It didn't start off great, so
no, but it found its way. You know, the experience finally kicked in halfway through the show.
Wow.
We figured it out.
That being said, I'll take care of it.
Oh, thank God.
I know. Casey, thank you so much for stopping by again. So if you're ever in Boulder, Colorado, Wild Provisions, or what is the other
Four
Noses? Yeah, stop by either one of theirs. Really enjoyed having you on. You were extremely intelligent, and even though it was last minute, thank you. Like that's a blast.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not familiar with the show, again, we do it every Thursday live at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you. You can find us through multiple different avenues. Make sure you follow us on the social medias. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page here on YouTube. That's probably one of the more important pieces.
Like and subscribe the breweries.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So thank you as always for stopping by and for some reason allowing us to do this for like a year now, which seems crazy. But it's been a lot of fun, and yeah. We really appreciate it to everybody that stops by every week, or everybody that watches the videos throughout the week after we've posted them. Make sure you keep up, follow us on the social medias. And does anyone want to say top of the morning or anything?
No, that was last week.
Yeah, it just seems appropriate.
Okay, top of the morning to you.
God damn it.